Okay, so your switch is not working on your 3520 searchlight car. This one sits over top of the magnet and it's supposed to trigger this. There's a ratcheting mechanism here. This has to be in the vertical position, so don't try working it upside down. It won't work. It has to be like that. And it basically rotates this very much like an E unit and the pawl on that. The problem is the metal pieces here get deformed. This piece will lose tension. It'll actually bow out. So you have to push it back in. And then this is the rides on your little bronze. It's probably sulfurized bronze, so it has some spring tension. Definitely this, probably that as well. And what happens is that little hole there rides in here, and as it ratchets along, it'll stop at the black, which is going to be off, and this metal, which will be on, which has to touch this. Now this will be out of whack. It may be bent in towards this phenolic resin plate, and it may be bent backwards. It needs to be bent in. All right. So, all right. So you can see this has to be pretty flat, and then this has to be bent in that direction, so it has enough tension to complete the circuit. So you're taking the hot through here, and it runs up into your bulb and of course your electromagnet. The ground goes straight through the truck into this. It's off. This is what's called a burnishing tool. A lot of guys are using nail files and sandpaper. That's a little bit on the harsh side. This was used back in the day, I guess, when you had a lot of early electronics and computers had relays and contacts. So you basically clean up whatever metal to metal contact you have. Basically you just put it in between and just slide it back and forth, but you can find other ways of cleaning, doing that. That's pretty important, I think, so watch out for that. Of course, taking the speed nut off allows you to get a little bit more access, so you can unsnap that and to put it back in. Otherwise it's not going to work. So you're going to have to do that. It won't come out completely, I think. At least I haven't been able to get it to come out. Probably can play with a little bit more to get it to release from here, but I'm going to try to leave it like it is. Alright, here it is back assembled. This has to be tucked in tightly. I haven't put the speed nut back on yet, so you got a little wiggle on this. But basically, this is a action here. You can see this has to work freely, and it's going to rotate. And this contact will touch this, close the circuit. The idea is that this Alright, that's the idea, except the magnet's going to pull that down. Off, on, off, on, off, on. Alright, it should do it. We'll see. We'll get it all back together. Okay, looks like we got it. The key thing is all the bends on those sulfurized bronze pieces have to be just right. The tension that holds the drum against that phenolic resin board has to be correct, as well. It kind of latches in there on the top. You might have to adjust that angle, but the big thing is the drum has to bottom out against that phenolic board, and then the finger will ride in the correct track, and you'll get a pretty good and reliable car.